Hello guys and welcome back to the workshop. Busy day today. I've got to get this stick wrapped. That's been posted straight after the school run. I'm down in the wood shed shaping. I've got 3 off the bat. I've got to strip and shape ready for the next stages of production. And I'm setting the fire pit up, which is for me kind of like multitasking, which us men aren't traditionally associated at being very good with. But I've got to do that because I have some orders for larger sticks, and most of them are actually of a stripped variety. So as soon as they come out of the actual shaping from the fire pit and the jig, I will be stripping bark off them. So I've got a busy day ahead of me before I lose light. We're still at that period of the year where we don't get fantastic lengths of time either end of the day. So I've got to really push hard to make this happen. So there won't be no lengthy cups of coffee, dunking my biscuits and contemplating the world and the state of the country. But yeah, I'm now going to start wrapping the stick. So I'm going to make this happen. And here we go, one finished item ready to go to the pickup depot, which is a local convenience shop. All fully safe, quite well padded, you know, not going to get damaged. Recycled cardboard and paper, and it's only really the sellotape which has really been purchased. So, you know, we're recycling in a way, so it's all good for the environment, you know, reuse, repurpose, and get multiple uses out of what most people would throw away. But yeah, I've got to make a move to the shop now and the school run. Well then guys, change of plan. The situation is quite simply, it's started to rain, so I'm not going to be able to use the fire pit. I'm straightening with the jig and the hot air gun. So I've got my first piece I'm going to straighten, and we'll start straight away. I want to get this beginning to set, and then I've got another one I want to drill the lanyard hole out, and then I've got to pre-select some bits that I'm going to make or straighten. But I'm only going to have enough time to straighten just what I need. I'm not going to get a surplus, and using this method has always been that way for me. I only seem to get enough to fulfill my immediate needs, and then I'm constantly, like a dripping tap, having to use this method for when I next need sticks. The steam straightener is just so fast. I can produce, you know, almost several weeks worth of sticks in one hit, but I can't control the weather, so let's make a start on this. Right, I can immediately see this handle here. I'm just going to heat it here, put it in the jig, and just bring that handle back in line just that little bit more. I did initially think that would be okay, but the more I look at it now, I think I do want to straighten that. So let's get straight to it. You've seen me do this 1,000 times. So there you go, I've got this straightened, or it's straightening. As you can see, this is the part that's being straightened. All the upward pressure is pushing it in an upward direction, and the load bearing part is on either side, and it's all protected. But I've got a few pieces I've got to select to do to actually put through this system and get straightened. Mandatory cup of tea while I'm doing it. So I'm going to go through this pile here and see what I can find before going out to my other part of the rack, and see if there's anything I can salvage. I was going to run this through the steamer because a lot of them are quite bent, but I'll see what I can salvage from here at the moment. I've had to put my coat on in here because I've got the main door open right the way through the workshop, and it's only about 3 to 4 degrees. It is absolutely quite cold. But I did actually say at some point I was going to start to try and learn wood carving, and I've had a little play around, not very professionally, but I do think that I could be proficient enough to do a wood spirit on a hiking stick if I continue practicing. And I'll let you have a little look where I'm at with that at the moment. Well, there he is. It's an offcut, and as you can see, it's very rough around the edges, but I'm practicing, and I want to get good enough to be able to do a decent wood spirit to be able to put on a hiking stick shaft. But yeah, I grant you there's a long way to go yet, but you've got to start somewhere. So I'm hoping I can get good enough, like I keep saying, just to make a good enough representation of a wood spirit to put on a hiking stick shaft. Now I've done that with just basically a drill and a drill bit. I don't have a Dremel or proper carving equipment, but I don't think it turned out too bad with non-proper carving equipment. As you can see, the basics are there. It's just to refine it and be a little bit more pronounced. Like the moustache here should sit proud, not sunken. I've done an inverted moustache. You can see what it is, but I'd like to be able to put a bit more depth to that, as in it should stand out proud. And I'd have to, well, invert that rather than have it as it is there. But you learn. So I'm going to keep practicing, and very shortly, hopefully you will see one of these on a hiking stick shaft. Now I've just done a drop off of the hiking stick, and it's at the pickup point. But I'm considering going back to trying the couriers that come to our door, because I lose a lot of time doing it this way. I try to incorporate it in with shopping and things we've got to do, but you know, as pleasant as it is to get out and do a drive to do drop off for sticks, I've just seen that we've got some more that've got to go out tomorrow, and because it's quite so frequent, I think I'm going to have to try the actual courier coming to the door again. It's something I possibly can't avoid. So I'm back in the workshop, but I just want to reiterate a few points regarding couriers. Anything above 120 centimeters, it becomes the cost of postage dramatically rises, and indeed the choices of service provider for us to get the stick to the customer. So if I'm doing, you know, cheap sticks online, I use Every, which constrains us to 120 centimeters. Now I can go above that, but the price difference is totally dramatic. And this is approximate off the top of my head, but because my wife deals with most of the figures and postage sorting out, shall we say £2.80 to get a 120 centimeter stick to the customer through Every. You go above that to 122, 125. I've got to use Parcel Force, and it becomes £8 something to get that stick to the customer. Obviously, with a cheap stick, that cost is then passed to the customer, and you know, it's hard then for me to justify a cheap stick sticking £8 on it. Well guys, I'm down in the woodshed and I'm about to start sanding, but just a little quick insight into masks or dust masks. Now a lot of people feel that you can buy any reputable brand, and because they're adjustable that they will be, you know, self-generic fitting. Now for a large portion of society that may be true, but we all have different shaped faces, noses, we're all different basically. And as I found out, I've had to do possibly 4 expensive masks or mid-range masks to find one that actually fits my face to the point, you know, the day after I've not got like a bit of a sniffle or cough and feeling like I've got some sawdust in my system, even though I've been wearing a decent mask. Now, most of us will be familiar with this type here, and you can get various qualities of these. These are okay, but they're far from ideal if you're dealing with small dust particles. So I then went and bought some of these type of masks. This brand is perfectly acceptable and it's done a fantastic job, but however I adjusted it, I just felt it wasn't giving me that 100% fit and seal. And that's not because it's a fault of the mask. It's quite simply this would fit a large majority of the population, but for me it just didn't fit certain aspects of my facial features to give me that real 100%, you know, seal. But I'm sure this one here is a really mighty fine dust mask, and my friend uses these and he has no problems. But then again, he's got a slightly thinner, narrow face. Mine is quite wide and probably a bit podgy and with a bit of a chin there. But in any case, it didn't really fit me 100%, no matter how much I adjusted the straps. I tried another one which I just really could not get on with. It just felt like as I pulled it and adjusted it, it was really bearing down on the bridge of my nose to get it to seal around here. Yet again, that was a good mask, but it just didn't fit my facial features. I then went and purchased another one, because never skimp on masks if you're dealing with wood and sawdust and that. And I've now settled for this one. I'm not going to go into the brand, but I can adjust it, and due to the actual moulding and the shape of this, the actual nose rise and the cheek pieces and the chin and mouth protection bit that goes around here, this actually does me just fine. And I haven't had any, I always call it the day after feeling, where you know you've been wearing masks, but the day after you can I taste something a little bit on my tongue? You know, is there something there? Even though you've been wearing a mask, you just feel like you've kind of inhaled some particles. But I don't get that with this one. Yet again, I'm not suggesting it is this brand, because this might not fit another person. Like my friend, if he was to try this, he might say, do you know what, this isn't quite the fit I'm after, no matter how he adjusted it. Like I said, this is the one that fitted him. So don't be scared to play around with masks. You will probably have to play around with a few till you find one which is 100% your fit. But it's definitely worth investing the time and energy to do so. Unfortunately, it does cost money, but it is your health at the end of the day. So yeah, always wear a decent mask. I strongly suggest that. Well then guys, that's the end of another day. I've just finished sanding. I was there for hours. But anyway, I've just checked inside all the mask. I can't see any dust particles on the condensation. So I feel pretty confident I haven't taken on board a load of sawdust or dust particles. So yeah, always wear your mask. Stay safe when you're out there, you know, crafting. But in any case, this is Andy from the Folklore Hiking Stick Workshop. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to catch you guys out on the trail.